Welcome back. Listen, the selective outrage in this country is insane. People will march over one isolated incident, but they will ignore the everyday violence and just all-out madness going on in this country. I was watching GB News, well, it popped up on my YouTube feed, and I was curious about the update for this man, the Golders Green terror attack. And basically, the man, Essa Suleiman, has been charged with attempted for the savage attack on those two Jewish men. And I hope they have a speedy recovery. I wish them a speedy recovery. No one should be going through that. That's insane. Totally insane. Let's have a look at this video. It's very interesting.
And Romain, who joins us now. Rabbi, I appreciate your time this morning. I wonder if anything that we've heard from government, there was very strong words from Keir Starmer yesterday, and the fact the threat level has been raised. Where does this leave just the sense of security that the Jewish community in this country has now?
Well, the fact that the threat level has been raised, in a sense, is an external reflection of the inner fears of the Jewish community. And
threat level has been raised, right? Because of this crazy thing that happened. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And I'm not one of them sly racists I don't hate no group in society. I don't hate no ethnicity. I genuinely am about content of character, or not on your skin color, who you pray to. I don't care about that. Are you a decent human being? Because nobody is perfect, mate. Nobody's perfect. We are all capable of change, capable of being better. And if you are good at that point in time, regardless of what you've done in the past, to a certain extent, then to me, I don't judge.
What I have to say is the enormity of the situation. And when most of your viewers, GB News viewers, switched on this morning, maybe they were thinking about whether their job was secure or the cost of living or petrol prices or mortgage. What they were not thinking of is, if I go out into the street, will I be abused? Or if my children at school, will they be shouted at or spat at? Or even will I be attacked just because I'm visibly Jewish?
Really? Are you telling me that you think that you are the only person scared when leaving their front door, or worried a bit that something violent may happen to you? That you may be spat at, maybe someone might say something bad to you, might abuse you. You think you're the only person? Really? Mate, are you watching the news? Do you have Instagram? Do you have X? This country is going through an epidemic at the moment of crazy amounts of violence for no reason. The level of drug use is just out of this world. Alcohol abuse, and then people are just doing crazy things. Blacks are being assaulted, white people are being assaulted, women are being assaulted, God help us, children are being assaulted. It's a crazy world we're living in right now. Crazy, let's not even think about the world. It's a crazy country we are living in right now. And for some reason, because of, I'm not even going to belittle it, say for some reason. I know the reason. It is really horrifying. It's horrible when you see someone who looks like you being attacked in broad daylight and almost killed, because you think that could have been me. And I appreciate that. But when we are being selective, shall I say, with the response to violent incidents and saying that it is exclusive to one group of our society, you lose me. I see people marching and saying that we need to protect our Jewish community and speak up against anti-Semitism. I say we need to protect our whole community and speak up for the levels of violence, the increase in R words, the increase in antisocial behavior. We need to talk about this. People's voices are being ignored when it comes to the state of their country, and are being labeled as racist just for showing a natural reaction to something that they are not used to, something that they don't like, something that they are scared of. If someone from the Jewish community says they feel scared, the Prime Minister runs and says, we need to take care of the Jewish community and look after them. If a black person is scared, same thing. LGBT, same thing. Women, same thing. But God help us if we say something like, I'm scared of the fact that people are coming in on boats and we don't know them. I'm scared of the fact that my mortgage is probably going to go up, but the value of my house might probably be going down. I'm scared of the fact that my car was stolen the other day and the police just gave me a crime number and said report it and then just report it to your insurance. I'm scared that my wife might be walking the dog and just get punched in the face for no reason, because that's happened. Literally, everybody is scared of being a victim of some crime or other. We need to do better. We need to stop this selective outrage, pretending that somehow we have a monopoly or a particular group has a monopoly in being worried or being scared for themselves, if that makes sense.
Everyday fear that a lot of Jewish people will have this morning as they get up, as they go to school, go to work. So it's that level of insecurity which is almost impossible to understand if you're not in that situation. So
how is that impossible to understand if you're not in that situation? We are all in that situation. You'll be walking down London and someone will just snatch your phone. The amount of times I see on X, someone is just walking down the road, waiting at a train station, and then someone just goes nuts on them for no reason. And there's no police in sight. No police in sight. And when they send police, it's for something like hate speech.
Fear that a lot of Jewish people will have this morning as they get up, as they go to school, go to work. So it's that level of insecurity which is almost impossible to understand if you're not in that situation. It's a double fear, really. Obviously, people are very upset and worried about what happened yesterday, but even worse, in a sense, is the fact that this seems to be a pattern. We had the attack in Manchester in September, but more recently, we've had, 3-4 incidents in the last couple of weeks. The ambulances torched in North London.
Listen, you really want to talk about patterns? Let's talk about this pattern. A decrease in spending for our essential services, police, NHS. What do we get? More sick people, more crimes being committed. No one feels safe anymore. That is the pattern I see. If the police were supported properly, recruited properly, do you think that this would be allowed to happen? This Essa Suleiman had a history of violence. If we invested in all apparatus of our society, the police, NHS, social services, do you think he would have been able to have slipped through the net? Bearing in mind, life, unfortunately, things happen. Even in societies, homogenous societies like Japan, relatively low crime, you will see a crime that shocks the whole country. But let's say that we have the police force that this country deserves, the NHS that this country deserves, the social services that this country deserves, on account of the amounts that we pay in taxes, the amount that we just give away to foreign causes, foreign aid. If we were rewarded for that and given the police force that we need, do you think that things like this wouldn't happen still? It would, but the majority of things that happen in violence, the majority of crimes, they wouldn't. And then we could genuinely say, listen, we need to do more about crimes for this particular group. Because on a whole, crime is coming down, but this particular group, they're still suffering. I don't know. I'm not a genius. I'm not a political scientist. I'm a guy that sees this as a family, is genuinely scared for his family, and then I'm seeing someone else play down my fears by amplifying his fears. Somehow his fears take more of a precedent than mine. And now we've got the Prime Minister going down to the Jewish community saying he's sorry. And then all of us that are worried about what I said before, immigration and all these sorts of things, somehow we're racist. Can't make this shit up.
On the Kenton and Finchley Synagogue, both in North London, and now this. So real fear is it's sort of going to encourage other people to do copycat activities. And you remember how, I don't know, when the first aeroplane was hijacked, then other people started doing it, or when people started using cars to ram people in the streets, other people imitated it. Now there's a real fear that anybody with a knife, even a kitchen knife, let alone a hunting knife, can just go out and stab people. And that's part of the problem, really, that it's not just institutions like a synagogue building that's at danger, but just any person. It's just so random, and you just never know whether you're going to work, to school, to shops, what's going to happen to you?
It is random. Yes, you are right. It is random. It's not just black people that are being hunted down and stabbed. I was watching this student the other day saying that black people need safe spaces in Sainsbury's. No, the real people that need safe spaces are pregnant women, older people. Yes, they're going to be able to sit down, breastfeed. They're going to be able to sit down, take the weight off of their feet, wait for the taxi to come pick them up with their shopping. Not LGBT, not ethnic minorities, not the Jewish community. Everybody needs to be able to feel safe in their environment. That's what the police help do. But also that's what communities help do. The police themselves, you know, in your neighbor, by bringing in the sort of people that we want in this country. Not just any Tom, Dick and Harry coming in. You don't know who they are. And to be honest, you're not happy with who they are. And yes, you are allowed to not be happy with who they are. I think we need an honest discussion. Literally, without the name calling, without the shouting down, without the fear of being arrested and sent to prison about this selective outrage. Grown-up conversations about the state of our country.
A real level of fear.
And Rabbi, with this increased terror threat will be an increase in police presence. Do you think that will do much to reassure the Jewish community?
Can you imagine? The increase in terror threat, increase in police presence, increase in violence, increase in everyday madness, no increase in police presence. I was literally, there was a murder down the road for me in Milton Keynes. I saw a whole heap of police coming up and down outside, coming up and down. My wife was like, "Raw, how come there's so much police?" I was like, "Raw, I don't know what's happening. Something must be happening." But don't think that things don't happen every day. My wife was assaulted just walking down the road by two kids, 14-year-old kids. Lucky I was in my office. I was there within 2 minutes. Jumped in the motor, was there within 2 minutes. Told the kids to wait there while I called the police. They waited. Police didn't come for half an hour. I let them on their way. Police came to my house later on that day, and I said to them that this is crazy. How you didn't come down and these kids are just doing these things for no reason. I don't see police. Literally, I never see the police. People are smoking crack openly in the town centre, next to nice cafes, next to women walking their children. I don't see police. What is going on? Some of these kids need a good spanking. This copper decides to tell me, sir, you need to be careful the things you say. What? I never said I'm going to do that. I'm saying these kids need that. And this 20, maybe 22, 23-year-old copper decides to lecture me on how I say things. I asked him to leave immediately. This is what we have in this country. This is the society we live in. And then you will see, people will say these things, have legitimate concerns about what things like I've just said. And then people that are expecting you to have empathy for their position will then belittle you and say, "Oh, boo-hoo, you voted so-and-so in, why don't you go and tell him?" Or "You voted Brexit, now look, now here's your cake, eat it." There's no empathy, man. No empathy. It's so sad what has happened. This Esther Suleiman needs to be dealt with properly, right? But we also need to sort this police force out, man. We need to sort our country out. Our essential services. We need to sort them out, man. Otherwise, you're going to get this all the time. You're going to have Keir Starmer saying, "I'm sorry, we'll try and do better."
Partly, yes, because obviously it's a very important symbol that the state is taking this seriously. That, in other words, it's not just a Jewish problem, it's a national problem. Again, in two senses, partly that the country at large is concerned about its Jewish population, but also that it's something that can affect people who are not Jewish. Because when you have these random attacks, this sort of horrible division and hatred and hostility in society, it just never stops with Jews. It always then goes on to other people, other minorities.
Thank you. Forget the other minorities, just other people. That is good enough for me. Thank you for that. You let people talk enough, the truth comes out. Just let them keep talking. The truth really comes out. And what he just said is the truth, that everybody is at risk and we need to do something about it.
often said that Jews are the sort of canary in the coal mine, the sort of moral barometer, if you like, of the health of a society. And the moral barometer is looking pretty awful at the moment.
Mate, you don't need the Jews to be the canary in the mine or a barometer of the state of society. Like I just told you, just look on X, look on Instagram, look on the news every day. Just ask everyday people. Nobody smiles. Nobody says good morning. I walk my dog. Half the time, people just got their head down. They don't say nothing to you. Everybody's unhappy. Kids just literally just on the... Listen, and I'm not judging. When I was a kid, I was a piece of shit. But I had manners at the same time. I had manners. So if I saw... Because this is the community I was in, everybody knew each other. You wouldn't throw bottles on the floor and just smash them on the floor after you finish drinking a bottle. I used to have a cheeky puff. You wouldn't do that on just bare face out. You would go to the corner in the park and do what you needed to do. But nowadays, no community feeling. We rely on our police to do that for us, to police us. When really, if we were in a proper community, we would be able to police ourselves just by shame of looking bad in front of our other members of the community. Do you understand what I'm saying? I would literally be walking my dog and kids would just be like in the park where kids are riding their scooters and that. And I'm there, I make sure my dog he's a scary looking SOB, but he's a really nice dog and he's well trained. He walks off lead. I just got a whistle and he's back next to me. And I will make sure that I'm responsible for other people, because just because my dog is impeccably trained, I need to understand that other people are scared of dogs. So when I see people around, I see they have a visible fear, I automatically whistle and have him on a heel. No one takes other people's thoughts into consideration, and they should be. Kids will just throw bottles on the floor, mashed. Throw food, they finish eating their food, throw chicken bones everywhere. And it's not just black kids, it's not just Muslim kids, it's every kid, all the kids. When we say it's an immigration thing, we could talk about immigration, but let's just talk about how we are raising our children. Because those children are going to be the next adults, they're going to be the next police officers. They're not raised right. They might be the next person stabbing 2 Jewish men for no reason on the street, or R-wording a woman. It's not just about the Jewish community. This society needs a hard reset with hard conversations about the way forward, not just pointing fingers. Let's be real. If Brexit was done properly, this country would have been a lot better than it is right now. But then those who are against Brexit will say, haha, you got Brexit. Look what it's got you. Let's just be honest, man. I'm not on anyone's side. I foolishly voted Boris Johnson. Look what he did to this country. We all make mistakes. No one's perfect. Sometimes I'll read a politician will come on and I think, wow, he's really great. And then he says something else. I'm like, am I stupid? I just keep getting fooled by these people. The other day I saw Kemi Badenoch. Weeks ago I saw Kemi Badenoch chastising the Prime Minister for not getting involved in the Iran war. Have you not had enough of war? Why do we need to get involved in bombing a country that hasn't done anything to us? Shouldn't we be focusing on building our army to protect ourselves just in case some country wants to do something to us? Madness.
Such people, individual Jews are on the front line, but it's everybody else who needs to worry as well.
Can I just ask you, I mean, quite briefly, how have we got to this point? And why do you think it hasn't been arrested before now?
Well, we are just as puzzled as you are. I suppose it's because there were little incidents that were allowed to progress. For instance, as you heard in the clip that you just showed a few moments ago, a lot of those marches, you can have opinions this way or that way about Israel, but when you have hate speech or hate placards or hate slogans saying kill the Jews or whatever, then, well, words unfortunately lead to...
Saying those placards, hate... They kill the Jews. Listen, it's not. I don't like it, but I'm also scared. Those hate placards saying "kill the Jews." I really don't like it, because that could happen to any part of our society. It could be, I hate the blacks. I hate the second generation British-born Nigerians. I hate the pie and mash eaters. Let's be real here, man.
And if people think way or that way about Israel. But when you have hate speech or hate placards or hate slogans saying kill the Jews or whatever, then, well, words unfortunately leads to actions. And if people think it's okay to say it, then the next step is people think it's okay to do it. You and I...
That is crazy. He's talking about police and words. Listen, you shouldn't be putting up them placards saying hate, you want to kill people and kill that. That is genuinely scary. That is scary. That really scares people. I'm so scared of my wife walking down the street and someone hates Asians and decides to flipping attack her. Like, or my daughter because they hate me. I hate that stuff. But listen, I'm not policing what people say. What you should be doing is, going back to it, getting a proper justice system, a proper police force to enforce the law. If these people going on riots start smashing up stores, he should go to prison. You shouldn't be put in prison for saying something that offends someone else. You can be demonetized saying kill the Jews or kill the blacks or kill the whites. If you're in a cinema and someone says fire and everybody, it causes a stampede, people get hurt, I think you can go to prison for stuff like that. I'm no lawyer. I'm just a guy talking. But I see it all the time. I see the pattern. Every time something like this happens, people are talking about restricting your freedoms even more. If you're upset with people marching and saying offensive things, just go away from the march, go home. If the police did their job, they would protect us from any sort of violence or anything that breaks the law. If the community was tight, well knitted, together, people wouldn't feel brave enough to walk down the street marching and saying wicked things. If we stopped playing sides against sides, we would know better than to bring home imported grievances back to our home country and realize that, yeah, there are problems all around the world, but it wasn't so bad here. Why do we need to import it here and destroy our own home because of something that's going on somewhere else? We can march, we can protest, yes. But at the end of the day, if we are voting in members of parliament, politicians who really don't care, who just don't give a damn, they'll just say anything just to stay in power. The thing that we should be taking seriously, we don't think about. We just vote these people in that don't give a damn. And then when something goes on, when someone is hurt, when there's some sort of incident, we all start marching and getting angry. When these people that we voted in, and I'm included in this, fuck up all the time. They put us in this problem, in this situation. It's incredible. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm out.